Ladies and gentlemen, high-value mature woman is not defined by trends, opinions, or social validation. She is defined by her habits, habits that sharpen her character, habits that elevate her standards, habits that make her magnetic in a way beauty alone never could. She doesn't chase attention, she commands it. She doesn't beg for respect, she earns it, and she doesn't just move through the world, she owns it. Today we are going to uncover the 6 habits that separate an average woman from a high-value mature woman, the habits that make her truly irresistible. These are not tricks, games, or surface-level tactics. These are deep, unshakable principles that shape how she lives, how she carries herself, and how the world responds to her. And here's the truth. When a woman masters these 6 habits, she becomes unforgettable, she becomes untouchable, she becomes a force, one that cannot be dismissed, overlooked, or replaced. So listen closely. If you want to understand what it truly means to step into your highest value, to elevate your presence, and to become irresistible without saying a word, these 6 habits are your blueprint. The meaning of being high value. Being high value is not about wealth, looks, or status, it's about the standards you refuse to compromise. A high-value woman knows her worth, sets boundaries, and does not beg for approval. She is disciplined with her time, selective with her energy, and intentional with her choices. Her value comes from integrity, resilience, and self-respect. She does not chase validation, she attracts it by living with purpose. High value is rare, and what is rare becomes magnetic. It cannot be faked, and it cannot be ignored. Habit 1. Self-respect above validation. A high-value mature woman understands this truth. Self-respect is worth more than any validation the world can offer. She does not need applause to know her worth. She does not need constant reassurance to feel powerful. Why? Because she is rooted in who she is, not in what others think of her. Validation is temporary. It comes and it goes. But self-respect, that is permanent. That is unshakable. This woman will not trade her dignity for likes, attention, or approval. She doesn't bend her values just to be accepted. She does not water herself down to make others comfortable. If someone disrespects her, she does not shrink. She reinforces her standards. She walks away when her worth is questioned, because she knows every time you abandon your self-respect for validation, you tell the world you are negotiable, and she is not negotiable. What makes her irresistible is her refusal to compromise on her value. People admire her, even if they don't always understand her. They are drawn to her strength, because in a world desperate for validation, she is rare, she is solid, she is unshakable. When she looks in the mirror, she doesn't ask, "Am I enough?" She declares, "I am more than enough." That conviction radiates through her words, her walk, her presence, and that is why she stands out. That is why she commands respect, because self-respect is the highest form of power, and no validation can compete with it. Habit 2. She invests in growth, not gossip. A high-value mature woman understands that her time and energy are her greatest currencies. She refuses to waste them on gossip, petty drama, or meaningless conversations that tear others down. While others sit around dissecting people's lives, she is busy building her own. She invests her energy where it multiplies into growth, discipline, and the pursuit of excellence. Growth, to her, is not optional. It is a lifestyle. She is committed to learning, expanding, and sharpening herself every single day. She reads, she studies, she asks questions, she seeks mentors, and she surrounds herself with people who elevate her thinking. Her focus is not on competing with others, it's on becoming a better version of herself than she was yesterday. And that relentless dedication to growth makes her magnetic, because people are naturally drawn to those who embody progress. She knows that gossip is cheap, it costs nothing but destroys everything. Growth, however, is priceless. It demands sacrifice, discipline, and consistency. So while others waste their nights scrolling endlessly, she is mastering her craft. While others chase attention, she builds value. While others talk about people, she talks about ideas, opportunities, and solutions. What makes her irresistible is the fire in her spirit, the undeniable pull of someone who is always evolving. People can sense it, her presence, her energy, her mindset. She doesn't need to tell the world she is valuable. Her growth speaks for her. And here is the truth. Gossip may entertain for a moment, but growth inspires for a lifetime. That is why she stands out. That is why she is unforgettable. Because when you commit to growth, you automatically outshine those who remain stuck in the noise. Habit 3. Embracing growth and change. A high value, mature woman does not fear change, she embraces it. She understands that life is never stagnant, it is always shifting, always moving, always testing her capacity to adapt. While others resist the unknown, clinging to comfort zones that keep them small, she welcomes growth, even when it feels uncomfortable. Why? Because she knows transformation only happens when you step into the unknown. This woman views change not as a threat, but as an opportunity. She doesn't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, she asks, "What is this teaching me?" That shift in mindset makes her unstoppable. Every challenge becomes a lesson. Every ending becomes a new beginning. Every setback becomes the seed of her next comeback. What makes her irresistible is her resilience. People are drawn to her because she does not collapse under pressure. She rises from it. She reinvents herself when others give up. She evolves when others stay stuck. She refuses to allow fear of the future to chain her to the past. That ability to adapt, to pivot, to grow through change makes her magnetic. And let's be clear, embracing growth and change is not easy. It requires courage to let go of old identities, old habits, old relationships that no longer serve her. But she is not afraid to release what weighs her down, because she knows that growth requires shedding. Like fire purifies gold, change shapes her into her highest self. This habit is what separates her from the average. She does not resist life, she flows with it, evolves with it, and becomes stronger because of it. And that is what makes her impossible to ignore. She doesn't just survive change, she thrives in it. Habit 4. Living with gratitude. A high-value mature woman understands that gratitude is not just a polite gesture, it is a way of life. She knows that true strength comes not from constantly chasing what's missing, but from appreciating what she already has. Gratitude grounds her, humbles her, and sharpens her perspective. It keeps her from being consumed by comparison, envy, or entitlement. While others complain about what's wrong, she focuses on what's right. She doesn't waste her energy resenting the blessings of others because she is too busy counting her own. That mindset makes her powerful, because gratitude transforms her struggles into lessons and her losses into growth. Every obstacle becomes a stepping stone when she looks through the lens of appreciation. Gratitude does not make her weak, it makes her magnetic. Why? Because in a world where so many people walk around bitter, resentful, and unfulfilled, she radiates peace. People want to be near her because her energy feels like a refuge. Her thankfulness is not naive, it is intentional. She knows life will test her, people will fail her, and circumstances will change, yet she refuses to let bitterness define her. Gratitude is her anchor. She practices it daily, whether through reflection, journaling, prayer, or simple acknowledgement of small victories. She doesn't wait for big milestones to feel thankful. She finds joy in the little things that most people overlook, and because of this habit, she carries herself with a calm confidence that makes her irresistible. Gratitude sharpens her vision. It allows her to see opportunities where others see dead ends. It gives her patience when the road gets hard, and most of all, it makes her unshakable, because no matter what she loses, she will never lose her perspective, and perspective is power. Habit 5. Faith and purpose. A high-value mature woman does not drift through life aimlessly. She is anchored in faith and driven by purpose. Faith is her foundation. It gives her strength when the world tries to break her, courage when fear tries to silence her, and clarity when confusion surrounds her. She believes in something greater than herself, and that belief fuels her resilience. Purpose, on the other hand, is her compass. It directs her steps, shapes her decisions, and ensures she never wastes her life chasing empty distractions. She understands that without purpose, life feels hollow, no matter how much success or recognition you achieve. Purpose gives meaning to the grind, the sacrifices, and the struggles. It transforms pain into power, and setbacks into stepping stones. With purpose, she doesn't need applause to keep going. With faith, she doesn't need guarantees to take the next step. What makes her irresistible is the fire in her soul. People sense it when she walks into a room. She is not wandering, she is moving with intention. She doesn't settle for comfort because she is committed to calling. She doesn't fear rejection because she is fueled by conviction. And in a world where many are lost, she shines because she is guided. Faith gives her peace. Purpose gives her power. Together they make her unstoppable. She doesn't just exist, she lives. She doesn't just work, she serves. And every decision, every action, every choice reflects the depth of her calling. That is why people are drawn to her, because purpose is magnetic, and faith is unbreakable. Habit 6. She owns her presence. A high-value, mature woman does not enter a room, hoping to be noticed. She commands attention without saying a word. She owns her presence, from the way she carries herself to the way she speaks. Everything about her radiates confidence and certainty. She doesn't rush to prove herself, because she knows she is already enough. Her presence says it all. She understands that presence is not about beauty, status, or titles. It's about energy. It's the way she looks people directly in the eye, the way her posture communicates strength, the way her silence speaks louder than noise. She does not shrink to make others comfortable, nor does she inflate herself to feel important. She stands firm, balanced, and assured. People are drawn to her because her presence feels different. It is steady in chaos, bold in uncertainty, and grounded in truth. She doesn't need to compete for attention, because attention naturally flows to her. Her aura tells the world, I know who I am, I know what I bring, and I don't need your approval to validate it. What makes her irresistible is her mastery of presence. When she speaks, people listen, not because she demands it, but because her words carry weight. When she walks away, people remember her, not for what she wore, but for how she made them feel. Presence is not something she performs, it is something she embodies. Owning presence is about authenticity. It's about living so aligned with your values, your worth, and your power, that you don't need to prove anything. And when a woman fully owns her presence, she becomes unforgettable, because presence isn't just seen, it's felt, and that feeling lingers long after she's gone. Final words. Becoming irresistible is not about being perfect, it's about being disciplined. It's about refusing to be average. These 6 habits create a gravitational pull, a force that cannot be ignored. A high-value, mature woman doesn't just walk through life, she commands it, and that is why she is irresistible.